You want to start us off today?
I can attempt.
Okay.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm David.
I'm Jen.
And today we're going to talk about topiaries.
Yay!
Moss balls, boxwoods, things like that. We're going to talk about some of the different options of topiaries that you have.
Let's get started.
Awkward.
So a lot of you may have noticed, like us, that we are seeing, or I'm seeing, a lot of green in fashion these days. And I actually love the color green. We've seen the olive green and the sage green for a while, but I've always loved like grass green. It used to be my favorite color when I was little. I just love the color of like fresh green grass. So we're seeing more and more of that now. And most of the time those fashion trends will carry over into home decor. And so you can never go wrong with greenery. We want to give you a closer look at the greenery that we have available that you can easily incorporate into your home pretty much no matter what your colors are.
Green's a great option for in-between seasons, but it's also just a great option for every day because green is something we kind of consider neutral. So for most part, almost every colors that you have in your house are probably going to go with a shade of green.
Yep. So we're going to take a closer look. So what are we looking at?
So the first things we're looking at are a couple of different boxwood topiary shapes that we have that are really traditional but are really kind of classic and timeless. So the first one we have is just your typical sphere shape with a single stem into a container, and this is one that comes kind of pre-potted. It comes just like this with all the rocks already cemented into it and the boxwood already shaped. Same thing for this cone shape. Is this one comes just like you see it. It comes in this kind of a worn gray whitewashed concrete style container, and then the boxwood kind of grows up the shape, so it gives you that cone kind of shape. And these are great if you have that farmhouse style, or if your style is really French country. These are great options for those kinds of things, but there's more that you can do than just boxwood. Okay, so other options, we have lots of different styles of moss balls, moss orbs, moss topiary balls, whatever you want to consider them. We also have boxwood balls, and these are great if you've got dough bowls, if you've got any kind of a bowl shape, just to really drop a few things in there really easy and, you know, give yourself some of that really a pop of green, like Jen was saying, that really make it stand out. You know, these kinds of things can be easily incorporated into dough bowls, into trays, into lots of different kinds of bowls. And they're going to give you that really formed shape that really makes it feel very organized, but also natural at the same time. Okay, and the other thing you can do with spheres like this is use them in groupings. So instead of just having one random one out there, it's sometimes a good idea to use two different sizes. I've got these on two different containers just to kind of give you an idea of the large moss sphere. And then we've also got these time topiaries that come in these little paper mache handcrafted pots, and those are a good thing to kind of pair together as well, just to give you a couple of different layers and heights instead of just having the one random piece just sitting in the middle of something. You can have a little more of a grouping as opposed to that single piece. Some of you may get to a place where you think, I don't have two different height containers or something, that you really want a specific height for one of your spheres, but you don't have that particular height. So we're going to give you just a quick example of, you know, we've got a small little square container here, and then I have some stems that I actually saved from some other things that I cut. You can see where I already cut the ends of that off, and we're just going to put that down in some styrofoam that I already glued into our container here. just cut the leaves off of it because we don't necessarily need that.
So you're making your own little...
I'm making my own topiary. We're going rogue here.
These are like, this is like the trunk of the...
Yeah. So if you don't have a single stick that's large enough, you can just bunch together a few instead of trying to have one that's thick enough. And sometimes that doesn't want to go down into the styrofoam as easily. So we're just gonna kind of place these in here.
And if you're not like us, maybe you don't have scrap floral pieces
You should
around.
always have scrap floral
But
pieces
if you
around.
don't, you could easily get sticks out of your yard.
Yeah, you
for
could
this.
use birch branch, or
Yeah.
you could use natural sticks if you had that, if that was a better option for you. But really, we're just kind of clustering these up together, and then I'm going to cut them more to a similar height for all of them.
We recycle everything around here.
We do.
It always has a purpose. We have usually like a design box of things that everyone...
And then we're just going to take a knife and just kind of score ourselves a little space, because this is a styrofoam ball that has kind of a texture mat on top of it. And then that's going to be easy for us to hopefully... Gotta make sure I get it in there right. So, I got my moss sphere placed on my little container here. I'm gonna move some of my foliage.
Floral work is messy.
It is a little messy. But that way, if you decide you've got a place where you want another height, you can create whatever heights that you would like. And you could do, you know, 2 of these in different heights if you want. Or if you have a mantel or a buffet table and you want 2 exactly the same height, you can do 2 whatever height you really feel like. So now that we've shown you kind of a sphere on a container, a couple of different sizes, and I know this looks like a rather large sphere, we're gonna make a giant one, because we have a rather large container that we need something on. So we're going to work on this rather large container now and show you how to make an orb on top of it. And I've already got styrofoam in it, and I've got moss on top of it. And we're actually going to use this large grapevine wreath and make a sphere out of it. And I'm going to show you how to take it apart and place it on top of our container. So for the majority of grapevine wreaths, there is one singular vine that really goes around the entire thing, and that we're going to cut. And then unwind that piece. So now I've just cut some of my grapevine that makes our wreath, and I'm going to be placing it in our styrofoam, and hopefully we're just going to go all the way around. We're going to get a little bit larger every time. Very tangly part of the process. So we're just going to kind of keep going around at different angles. I've got a smaller one here. I'm going to go underneath. But the thick ones really just give us a frame that we can work with for some of the thinner ones. Okay, so since we've got our frame kind of built a little bit here, we can use some of these thinner pieces, and we're actually going to start to go more around. And we're really just going to use lots of different angles for this process. You just want to kind of go around and then stick that one piece back in so that it stays more secure. Or you could wire it, but that takes too long. So I'm just touching up a little bit, some of my moss, some of my styrofoam from the sticks. Got a little bit exposed. So we're just gonna add a little bit of that here and there just to kind of rehide my styrofoam. And then we've got this sphere pretty much complete. So we just kind of went a lot of different directions so that it was not one. If you just do it vertically as opposed to lots of different angles, it doesn't give this more sphere appearance. And now that we've got it like this, you can really do whatever you want to with it. You could put things inside of it. You could really plant something and let it grow on the outside. But since we don't have real plants, I'm probably going to take a little bit of green and just let some of our vine hang off of this, and weave this in and out of a few places and just give it a little bit of color, because after all, we were talking about green and how great that is, and we'll probably put this outside of the store once I get it done.
And there you have it. We hope that you have been inspired by our green creations today. We're standing outside of our store here in Sheffield with this beautiful topiary that David made, and I think it turned out really nice.
Yeah, so it's something that's just kind of a blank canvas that you could add color to if you wanted to, but since we were talking about greens and, you know, this is kind of natural, I like the way you can kind of see through it. And, you know, maybe one day we'll add some color to it.
Yes. So if you liked our video, make sure that you give us a thumbs up and you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We always appreciate you watching. We hope you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. Bye.
It's bright out here.
It is bright out here.